Hey everybody, before I start this For Honor video, just want to mention I do have a sponsor today. That sponsor is Massdrop, and Massdrop is selling the PC37X headphones, which I have mentioned before in the past. They are not only very comfortable, the sound quality is very good, and the price does not bank the bank. Good job, Bricky. You're great at ads. Break the bank. And as someone who has, of course, used them myself as well, because, you know, I always got to use the product before I advertise it, they are definitely quite nice headphones. So if you are looking to get anything like the PC37X for Christmas or for yourself, I would highly recommend it. And if you'd like to check out Massdrop as well as all the other items they have, you can check out the link in the description as well. All right, thank you for sponsoring the video, Massdrop, and let's get into it. So today we are talking about For Honor and the give and take of For Honor. And the give and take of For Honor is a term I like to use in terms of balancing For Honor correctly. Now, For Honor obviously is not the most balanced of games and has a very difficult way of balancing itself and a bit slow of a nature in balancing. It takes them a bit of time to get things done with. But I wanted to quickly mention something that I feel is very, very important in For Honor, which is the give and take and the give and take in balancing. So I'm probably going to have another video later on discussing For Honor balance and how I believe the game should continue in terms of balance, but this is a big thing I want to mention. And a lot of people see things like tier lists or perhaps any of the data that they're running with and get very confused at where certain characters are. For instance, at the way top of the tier list, at least for duels, Warlord is pretty much up there. And you probably think to yourself, at least if you're a casual player, how in the heck is Warlord up there? And the real reality is Crashing Charge and Unlock BS. But with that kind of stuff, it brings together this kind of give and take of For Honor, which I think needs to be something that is utilized far more in the balancing patches of the game. Now, the give and take is very simple. A certain move or moves are too strong on a character, but other moves are too weak and generally are not used. Those moves must be buffed, and the other moves must be nerfed. I think a great example of this is Gladiator. Gladiator, if he did not have his zone attack, would be probably a B tier hero. A lot of people say he'd be garbage. I don't think so. He has some fast light, some good dash attacks, some stamina drain, and skewer mix-ups and stuff. I think he would be fine at like a B tier area. You know, maybe like B plus or something. But his zone attack makes him incredibly insane due to just how punishing, how fast it comes out, and just basically just how safe it is as well. Where if you wanted to balance Gladiator, you need the give and take. The take is the zone attack. You would need to nerf the zone attack down. The give is to buff some of his other abilities or give him new abilities that increase his power. And this is a type of thing that I wanted to discuss for a large portion of the game, because I personally feel that the best characters in For Honor are the ones that can utilize their entire moveset, or at least a large amount of their moveset, or in a varied way. These are the characters that we should be looking at as the prime characters to balance around. And if you're curious what these characters are, they are Kensei, Shaman, Berserker, and Shaolin. Now, all of these characters have problems. Do not get me wrong. They all have issues, but a lot of them generally involves console, in my personal opinion. Most of their issues are console-based, but a lot of them have a ton of moves to be used. Berserker is insanely fast and utilizes pretty much most of their moveset when they attack you. Can it be annoying? Sure, but at least they utilize their whole entire moveset. Shaman, similar way. I hate fighting Shaman, the forest midget annoys me, but at least she uses her full moveset. You see Shaman use everything. Kensei is another great example. You have like 5 options that come out of your top heavy, and it's very nice to see not only top heavy have all these options, but your lights to be used, your heavies, your mix-ups, your dash attacks, as well as your zone. Everything has a purpose. Shaolin, I mean, his 400 millisecond starting light is pretty rough at times, but I just love how he's also able to do a ton of things as well, like things I think his key stance has so many different options that come out of it. This is something that I find very, very good in terms of balancing, whereas you find a lot of the give and take characters that are strong but for annoying reasons. if Conqueror did not have Shield Bash, he'd be a mediocre character. He would honestly be a mediocre character. Shield Bash needs to be toned down. It is incredibly annoying. However, he also needs buffs in other offensive tools. Defense, he's fine. He's fine with defense. But he needs offensive tool buffs. I personally believe that Highlander's kick grab combo is far too punishing for guessing wrong. Therefore, I believe it needs to be toned down. However, defensive stance is very poor, and it needs to be buffed as well because defensive stance you barely ever use. Continuing along with this type of idea, the Warden. He is a human shoulder. Does that make him a good character? Yes. But do I like the fact that he's a human shoulder? No. Shoulder bash, at least the charge or the cancel might want to be slightly toned down in some way, but his other abilities needs to have a little bit more love to them. Tiandi is an interesting group. I feel like Tiandi has plenty of tools at their disposal, but they turn into Palm Strike Simulator way too often, and perhaps Palm Strike might need a slight look at, or the other moves just need to be more viable. Or maybe a little bit of that, as I said before, give and take. Aramusha needs an opener, but I mean on console, I've seen that his chains can get a little bit annoying. Granted, I'm not quite sure how good he is on console versus PC, considering that you could just still block his light chains. But point being, Aramusha needs an opener, please. Lawbringer is another great example. I myself, of course, am a huge Lawbringer main, but I still think Shove on Block is stupid. Lawbringer needs buffs, pretty much across the board. But Shove on Block, I'm fine if that gets removed. I think Shove on Block is a dumb mechanic and doesn't need to be in the game. Centurion needs buffs. He needs to have some increased stats or something with Centurion, but his guard break wall splat combo might be a little bit too strong. It's kind of ridiculously punishing at times. This kind of continues and echoes more and more. At Shigoki even. Shigoki needs buffs everywhere, but I think the fact that he can insta-kill you with a hug is cheesy and stupid, because it's just bad design in my opinion. Warlord, again, crashing charge is too strong, but the rest of his kit sucks. This is the give and take of For Honor that really needs to be addressed, and I think should be the first thing the developers think about when they go into balancing the game. A lot of the characters that are on the top of the tier list aren't up there because their entire character is great or interesting. It's because they have one insanely strong move. And one-move pony characters are not fun to fight, nor are they fun to play. Conqueror, Warden, Warlord, these characters being at the S tier of the game just make it very, very uninteresting to deal with. They're not fun to fight. Whereas the A tier characters, your Shaolin, Zerkers, Kenseis, Gladiators an exception, his zone attack is annoying. But these characters are significantly more enjoyable to fight because they utilize their Shaman, their full move set, and it becomes a lot more enjoyable. So I feel like this needs to be one of the steps into balancing For Honor. And why did I make this video? I really don't know, because I've been trying to echo this sometimes, and it feels weird saying like, yeah, man, I really think good old Warlord needs to be like nerfed. He's really strong. And then you have people think, what? Warlord is awful. And then you had to explain the give and take of it. You know, Lawbringer may be good in the data section, but that's because Lawbringer can just turtle. You can just sit there and shove on block, and it's annoying and horrible, even though Lawbringer is actually a garbage character. So that's the give and take of For Honor. I'm going to make a video a little bit later discussing how I feel like we should balance the game, both in terms of pro versus casual play, as well as discussing things like fast lights. But until then, I just want to talk about the give and take a little bit, discuss balancing give and take, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.